Welcome to Dollars and Data. If you're going to perform SSIS demos or proof of concepts, you need data. Time is money, however, and I invariably find that people spend too much time on sourcing their data from cumbersome files or relational database tables, when their focus is entirely elsewhere. Perhaps their true focus is on a transformation problem or working through partitioning and sliding windows. Let's think outside the box. Keep in mind that today's flexible and time-saving trick is applicable to both SSIS and SSRS too. So I've recapped the problem here, but you can read that yourself. I think the bottom line for me is it removes a lot of time spent on ancillary tasks, as I'd mentioned. Also, too, it minimizes the number of moving parts that need to be considered, and that's great. The packages that I'll be providing are provided on Microsoft's TechNet gallery, but you'll only have to pull down the package in this case. You won't need to pull down any files, any DDL, things like that, and that's a real benefit. Now what we're going to do in response is we're simply going to use a CTE. We're going to take a CTE and embed it into a data flow source. I'm not sure that a lot of people think about that, and if they do, I'm not sure that they realize how many things can be embedded with that code, such as comments. A quick look at dependencies first. We'll create a raw file which will be used in another video. If you'd like to create that raw file now, you can make sure that there's a temp directory at the root of C. You'll see the test environment that this package was tested within as well. Now without any further ado, we'll take a look at the demonstration. Here we are with the CTE on the left. We'll not examine the CTE closely, but basically it's what you will find within the data flows source. And let's take a look at that. There we go. We've also got a variable linked to a package parameter that will control the number of rows generated by this source. We'll take a quick look at the connection manager. Very lightweight, very simple in nature, local host. Regardless of whether it's local or not, we know that there's going to be a temp DB available to us if we're pointing to SQL Server. And all's great there. Now we're going to go ahead and run this with a simple F5. But first I'll point out that we don't necessarily have to, at this point in time, direct our data set to a raw file. Let's back that out. And we'll run it, and our 100,000 rows as dictated by a parameter have been directed instead to a data sink, a bit bucket. I'm going to do a Control-Z. We'll reintroduce the raw file destination. I know that that gets directed over to this folder, which has got nothing in it right now. So we'll hit F5 again. Our 100,000 rows again, and this time we do have a raw file out here underneath the folder. Now real quickly I'll say that we have a little bit of a problem with raw files insofar as they're binary, and that's a mixed blessing. I'm sure it adds to their performance. Also, very importantly, it contains metadata about the data set that's contained within the raw file. But you'd like to be able to take a look and see what the contents of that raw file are. So I routinely put in place a data flow dedicated to that task. Now this one's disabled right now, but we'll take a quick look at it. There is a source. It pulls from the generate data raw file. And then it's got a data viewer in place too. You'll see the obvious benefit there in a second. So let's enable that and run it. And there you go. Now you can go ahead and confirm that what got sent out to your raw file was what you had expected. And all's good. I'm going to disable this again, and I'm going to save so that I very explicitly make sure that the entire package gets brought back to its original state. Well, there you have it. I hope that you saw that that quick trick can, again, reduce the amount of objects that you need to create for simple demo purposes, as well as save a lot of time. And thank you for visiting Dollars and Data.